What's your assessment of the current state of the Cavs?
Well, one of the things that we really benefited from was we were in a historically bad Eastern Conference. And all through those years, we really knew the target is the Western Conference team. There was nobody in the East who was really going to be in the way.
Yeah, right. The East was the LeBron Invitational for all of those years.
That now.
David Griffin may have just shaken the foundation of LeBron James's legacy with a single interview. The former Cavaliers general manager, who helped build the team that captured a championship alongside LeBron, revealed that the Eastern Conference was so weak they never felt the need to treat the regular season as a real challenge. On the surface, 8 consecutive NBA Finals appearances sounds like an untouchable accomplishment. But the picture changes when you realize LeBron went up against only one first-team All-NBA player throughout that entire 8-year stretch. Now, someone who witnessed those championship runs from inside the organization has pulled back the curtain on what really happened during that era.
LeBron James is a fraud. LeBron James, once again, proves that he's a pat-standing clown and should never again, ever be mentioned in the same breath as the greats who have ever played this great game that we call National Basketball Association basketball.
Do you still view LeBron's run of 8 straight NBA Finals as an incredible achievement, even after learning how weak the Eastern Conference was during that period? Or does this make you believe he benefited from the easiest road to the finals? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
David Griffin was the general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers throughout the whole stay, the second stint of LeBron James in Cleveland, when he came back from Miami up until the time that he left to the Lakers. Now, he's being asked about the current Cleveland Cavaliers team and, to acknowledge them and how great they are and all that other stuff. But during the answer to that question, he started talking about those years of the second stay of LeBron James and how lucky they were because the Eastern Conference was probably the easiest Eastern Conference in the history of the NBA.
Let's begin with David Griffin's exact comments, because these aren't coming from someone watching from the outside. He worked side by side with LeBron James during Cleveland's championship years. This isn't criticism from a random fan or someone with a personal grudge. This is the former general manager who helped assemble the roster that delivered Cleveland its historic 2016 title. When Griffin talks about those finals appearances, he's speaking from personal experience and first-hand knowledge of what that era was really like. Griffin explained, "One of the things we really benefited from was we were in a historically bad Eastern Conference." He went on to say, "All through those years, we really knew the target is the Western Conference team. There was nobody in the East who was really going to beat us." Think about what that means for a moment. According to Cleveland's own GM, the Cavaliers entered season after season believing that no team in the Eastern Conference posed a serious threat. Their biggest concern wasn't surviving the Eastern playoffs. Their focus was always on whichever team emerged from the Western Conference because they viewed that opponent as the only genuine challenge. Griffin even added, "The East was the LeBron Invitational for all of those years." Those aren't words from a social media debate. They're not a headline invented by a YouTube creator. They're the description used by LeBron's own former general manager, suggesting that the Eastern Conference playoffs had become little more than a routine stop on the way to the NBA Finals. His point was that the competition was so limited that simply having LeBron on the roster made another Finals appearance feel almost inevitable.
I think what ended up happening ultimately along the way was it changed our perspective to such a degree that you saw us. Even the first year we were together, I think we were 19-20 in our first 39 games, and then we run off this historic run in the second half of the season. But guys weren't taking the season seriously.
But that's not where Griffin's comments ended. He went even further by comparing those Cavaliers teams to the current Cleveland roster led by Donovan Mitchell. According to Griffin, what they're doing is going to be more impressive when they achieve what they're capable of. The Eastern Conference is significantly more competitive than what we had. Take a moment to process that statement. The very executive who helped build LeBron's championship team is arguing that if this Cavaliers squad reaches the NBA Finals, it would be a greater accomplishment than LeBron's streak of 8 straight appearances. His reasoning is simple. The path through today's Eastern Conference is much tougher. There are legitimate contenders throughout the conference. Reaching the finals now requires overcoming far stronger competition. Griffin also revealed something surprising about those LeBron-era Cavaliers. He admitted the team often failed to treat the regular season with much urgency. He pointed out that one season they started 19-20 through their first 39 games because the players simply weren't taking those games seriously. From their perspective, there wasn't much reason to panic. They believed no Eastern Conference opponent was capable of eliminating them once the playoffs began, regardless of their regular season record. For that group, the regular season was essentially preparation for the challenge they expected to face in the NBA Finals.
A violation. So they'll do it again.
You know, in those plays, and that was on LeBron James, those plays often go unnoticed. He makes this shot, you know, people will forget about it. These are the type of plays in this tight of series that can make the difference between winning or losing.
There was no part of me that believed we were losing. And it was one of those things that I just believed to the core of me, but it was because I felt like the only way we could win was to dig the hole we dug. That group needed it to be like that.
That's wild, isn't it?
For whatever reason, they were so spoiled by success and needed it to be so damn difficult. They put themselves in a position that only they could overcome. But that was the greatness of that group. They lived for make it messy. What Ty Lue did at halftime to challenge LeBron, there's going to be a 30 for 30 on that moment and what it really did to LeBron. He was the best of his angels that second half in a way that he couldn't have been without Ty Lue. And Ty knew it. And to have the gift he had at that moment for handling that situation, and then for our locker room to deal with Ty Lue going at him the way they did and to redirect LeBron to get the benefit out of it, that's a James Jones thing. That's a Channing Frye thing. That's an RJ thing. That's a J.R. Smith thing. That's a, look, man, is he right?